Hello and welcome to the Dark Tower Readathon. At least the books I'm planning to read for the Dark Tower Readathon. If you missed the announcement video, you can go check it out after this. The most important thing from that you're not going to hear in this video, I mean, let's be real, you probably are, but you need to go join my team, which is Team Susanna, in this readathon. And if you just read one book, that's totally fine. Welcome to the readathon. Read one book. That's absolutely fantastic. I am going to pick out a book for every prompt. And if I think of others, like if they come to my head, I will give recommendations for others that can be picked. Now, I am not picking any from my September TBR because it's the beginning of September and I don't know what's going to be left on my TBR at the end of the month to even pick from. So I'm starting fresh as if I have no books on any TBRs and I'm going to choose these 19 books for the Dark Tower Readathon. Should be way out of the way up here. We're going to start at the bottom with prompt number 1 and it says free book, mood read, whatever I want to read. I'm going to leave this here as a little placeholder for whenever I decide what to read, but I'm not going to force myself to pick a book right now a month before I even get here. Who knows what I'm going to read in September that I might be like, oh yeah, I like that. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm leaving it. It's going to be a true mood read, which is rare for me. Second prompt, read a spooky book. I'm picking The Immortals by J.T. Ellison. This is on my 50 before 50. It's also has been on a previous TBR and I didn't get to it. So hopefully I will get to it for this. It definitely is a spooky book. Well, the rest of J.T. Ellison's books have been spooky. So I'm assuming this one will be as well. Number 3, The Drawing of the Three. Read a book in a trilogy. Okay, I just read Chains by Laurie Halse Anderson at the beginning of this month in September. And so it's a trilogy, Seeds of America, 3 books, and Forge is book number 2. So I'm going to read that. That is part of a trilogy. So for prompts 4 through 6, I need to read a book with a magic user. I'm just going to copy these 3 so that I can keep them together because I want to know these are like 1, 2, 3, and these are 4, 5, 6. Then I'll have 7, 8, 9. I can do another row of those and then have one book at the end for number 19. So that's why it looks like this. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, my magic user book is the next one in the Discworld series. I'm sure it features a magic user since so far every one of them has. That's what I'm going with. Read a book with an animal companion. That's going to be hard for me to do. And read a book not set on Earth. So I'm going to look for those both on my Goodreads at the same time. An animal companion and not set on Earth. Okay, it does not have great reviews. It says 3.66, but the Accidental Demon Slayer says her hyperactive terrier starts talking. So I'm hoping that means that's going to count as an animal companion, but I'm going to go with the Accidental Demon Slayer for that. And then I've been reading this series, which is about people who have been kidnapped and put into space. It's one of those aliens kidnapped us from Earth and now we all fall in love series. And I read the other 2 books because I needed something in between and I already owned the first 3. So now I'm going to read number 3. It's going to be the one for this for Not Set on Earth. And for both of these prompts, for the Animal Companion and Not Set on Earth, I recommend that you guys read Dungeon Crawler Carl because there's definitely an Animal Companion and it's definitely not set on Earth. But I can't read one because I'm going to be all caught up by the end of this month. So I can't put it on my October TBR. Okay. So those are the 6, 7, 8, and 9. We have anything Jake has given 4 or 5 stars to, a Discord buddy read, and a book featuring a dysfunctional family. Okay. So far, these right here are the books that we can read that are part of Discord buddy reads in this month. So we have Extreme Makeover by Dan Wells. That one looks like it's going to be a thriller. Age of Death, which is number 5 in a series if you want to do that. Whatever Jake picks for his Patreon pick in October, which has not been determined. October Country by Ray Bradbury. Under the Dome by Stephen King. Desperation by Stephen King. The Regulators by Richard Bachman, also Stephen King. Or 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So you guys can pick which one you want to do. I think I'm going to go with Extreme Makeover It's sci-fi horror. There's a chief scientist at a health and beauty company is experimenting with a new anti-aging hand lotion. And so more and more anomalies start happening because of it. So I think I'm going to read that one. That sounds really good. All right, number 7 is a book Jake gave 4 or 5 stars. I'm going to do Flowers for Algernon. The next one is one of the buddy reads. I'm going to do Extreme Makeover. And then the last one is a dysfunctional family. And I'm going to do The Bookwoman's Daughter, because I read The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek and their family is very dysfunctional. So hopefully in the second book, it continues like that. All right, so we're ready for the next set of books down here. We have 10, 11, and 12. 10 is to read a book that's dystopian, post-apocalyptic, or cataclysmic. 11 is a brotherhood or bromance, and 12 is a short story or novella collection. Okay, so read a book with a setting that's dystopian. I am picking Weep. Weep is the series. This book is called Slackjaw. They were talking about it in the library the other day, and I was like, what is that? And so I wrote it down, and now it's at the top of my list on Goodreads, and I just saw it. Then, for a brotherhood or bromance, I'm picking Malice by John Gwynne. I know that they are forming a brotherhood. The new general, not a general, but the commander of this army, or whatever this group of people, is fighting somebody. So I'm hoping that they kind of make a brotherhood, band of brothers situation. Then I have read a short story novella collection, and I'm picking You Like It Darker by Stephen King. It's been on my list. I own it. I'm ready to read it. Okay, then we have 13 to 15, a book part of a larger universe, an author's magnum opus, and a book with a main character that's an anti-hero or morally gray. So I'm going to do the same world for the morally gray character and a book in the same world, because the First Law series is just the trilogy, which I read, and then there are books in the First Law world series, so standalones that go in that world, and I am on the Heroes. That's the one that I am going to be reading next. So I'm going to read the Heroes and Red Country, because I'm assuming they're also going to have some morally gray characters, since that seems to be a thing that happens in these books. And that'll also finish me, well, it'll get me ready for what's coming next, which I think is The Little Hatred. It says book 9. Oh, wow, there are 11 books now. Okay, I'm way behind. So the Heroes and Red Country are both getting added to my list. Okay, so I came over here for authors' most popular works or most famous works or whatever, and it says Neil Gaiman's most popular or whatever is American Gods. And I've been wanting to read that anyway, so that's what I'm going to add. All right, so The Heroes is set in part of a world. American Gods is a magnum opus, and Red Country is a morally gray character. And we move to our final grouping. Prompts 16 through 18. Read a book that relates to music, that features corrupt royalty or leadership, and features a kidnapping. All right, so the first one is somehow relates to music. And I have a book in a series that I'm reading that's called, oh, hold on, A Symphony of Echoes. Okay. So symphony is a musical word, so it hopefully relates to music in some kind of way. And corrupt royalty or corrupt leadership. I think Noughts and Crosses is going to be about corrupt leadership, because it's about the Noughts not being able to mix with the Crosses, and the main character's dad is one of the Crosses, and he is hopefully going to be running for not president but leader of this section that they're in. Anyway, so hopefully that will count as corrupt leadership. And then featuring a kidnapping, I read the description of this. I'm pretty sure it does. Florida Roadkill, it's called. And I'm pretty sure that it has somebody getting kidnapped in here somewhere. So then we have book 19, the last one. We'll put it right here in the center. And it is one of the ones off of the Stephen King list. Here's the list right here. If you didn't hear it, I read the whole thing out in my other video. There are 3 on here that I haven't read that I'm really interested in. Christine is one of them. Hearts in Atlantis and Dreamcatcher. The rest of it, I guess Duma Key is also something that I haven't read. And that one, I had forgotten about that one, but that was like my number 1 on my list earlier. So, Hearts in Atlantis, I have not heard great things about. Dreamcatcher, Christine, and Duma Key. Let me go read about those and see which one I want to do. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Duma Key. It actually sounds kind of terrifying, but it also has the feel of some of the other King books that I've absolutely loved. So that's what I'm going to read for the big last book. Okay, so there are my 19 books. I would love to chat below about any of them that you've read, about any of the books that you're going to be reading for this readathon. If you want suggestions for books for a certain prompt, ask me and I will let you know. Also, don't forget to click on the thing down below, go join the readathon, and make sure you're on Team Susanna. That's my team. So I will see you over in the Discord, whether you join my team or not, whatever. Let's have a good readathon, but Team Susanna is going to win. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.